Hello, girls. Good night. How is everything going? Can you please turn on your cameras? How was Christmas time? Are you ready for the last week of the year? How is everything going? Work and other duties? Everything is okay?
I think that all is okay. Can you hear me? I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
I think yes.
Okay.
I was making the question because I'm at the airport and I think that my internet connection is not well.
No worries. I know that you're traveling so much. So just turn off your microphone because it's like really loud and then we can like you can listen. Before I start, because I want to give like a fresh start, are you using your phones or do you have a computer? Like, how is your connection? All of you has like phone? Valeria has phone, but Anaí and Sarela, do you have phone or computer?
Computer teacher.
Computer. Okay. I will send you to your WhatsApp. Like in our group, I will send a video that is a TikTok video that one girl sent me today. Just is like a couple of seconds, but I need that you pay a lot of attention to the message, okay? Um, okay. This video, one girl, like one of my friends, sent it to me, and I want to share it with you. So as you have different device, I need that you turn it like on, you open it, you listen it, and Valeria, if it's possible, if not, later. It's like no worries. And yeah, so listen it, and when you finish, let me know. Hola Andrea, ¿cómo estás? Acabé de enviar un video por el grupo de WhatsApp que te va a pedir el favor que si tienes tiempo y utilizas otra conexión, lo revises. Okay, did you finish? Because it just I taking a little like so short, a couple of seconds. Okay, Valeria, yes, Anaí, yes, Sarela, and Andrea, can you hear me? ¿Me escuchan? ¿Sí? Porque yo veo a
Yes.
Andrea como están todas quietas. Yo, ¿qué es esto? Okay. So for me, it's so important that, of course, we are learning and etc. But it's so important that we can keep in our minds that, of course, we are humans and we are in this process to discover ourselves. And this kind of content sometimes like is a little bit, like heavy, a lot of positive stuff, but call so much my attention because we have this perception that some things in our life is completely or they are completely impossible, right? Until all that stuff is gone or is like you have the chance to choose whatever that is in front of you as soon as you believe that is for you. That can be like that you want to travel to Japan, that you want to buy a new apartment, that you want to change your car, that you want to have another opportunity in your job. And I just want to share you girls because it's important that we keep that in our minds, that we are every day creating a different lifestyle and that you can change your opinion as much time you want. And you know what is the hardest part about being like a lawyer and etc. You know that we work a lot of with goodwill and some standards of the society, and the people are expecting something from everyone. But for lawyers, we have a really heavy back in our back, and I want that you put out of your mind because of course that I want that you create a new level of learnership when you are like creating and you are trying to grow in your professional status, but also I want that you can open your mind when we are discussing topics that belongs to personal. And this connection, I am not the same lawyer that Anaí, that Zarela and Valeria. We are all different. Of course, Valeria is not a lawyer, but you take it. We all are different. We have different skills. We love different stuff. We do different activities. We feel different the world. And some of you travel like physically, like Valeria, that now is in Chile, but others travel by books, others travels by poetry, and others are trying to have the best experience that they can in their life. Of course, that being a lawyer is something important that is based your life and it's part of you, but it's not all. And before to be a really good lawyer, it's so important that you can be a happy person, that you can feel this love for your job, this love for your life. And this is something that is daily. And all days you don't have like the best attitude in everything, but when you start to practice and to be conscious that you are alive, you can take other kind of decisions. But because all of us will die, maybe tomorrow, maybe 2 months, maybe 50 years. And nobody will cares about what kind of lawyer you were, maybe depending of what do you want to live in this world. But at the end of the day, you can be the best lawyer in the world and be a bullshit in your personal life. And this is something that I don't want to sound like so ethic. All of you can create the life that you prefer. But before to start to get worried about be the best lawyer, I guess that it's so important that we can like grow up as a human, So keep like listening as much times as you want, and if you can, or maybe you don't like that kind of content. But I am helping you with two aspects. First, personal, and second, you are listening like a whole native speaker and you have these like subtitles on you, so it will be easier to catch everything. So it's like we'll discuss about bad lawyering. And as we start to discuss it a little bit when we had our speaking calls, but can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Not
Yes.
very well. Sorry.
I don't know, it's my
Hola, hola.
my my connection.
Some interruption. I think so. I can hear you well.
Hola. Ok, ¿sí se escucha? No sé qué pasa, creo que es mi conexión, como siempre. ¿Ahora me escuchan? Ahora sí, cambié la red de mi Wi-Fi. Ahí, ahí las escucho. Escucho aunque sea ruido. Listo. So we'll start to talk about bad lawyering and what means bad lawyering. And I'm so sure that if I make a question, like for sure, one of your references in your life, like in your law school or maybe your family or working, you will have case or you will have a lawyer that is like in the top of the world, you know, that you really admire, that you want to become like her or like him, that you want to do the same, whatever. But at the same time, we have a reference about what a bad lawyer is. We can have that information for social media, for news, for a personal experience, a professional experience, maybe at law school, maybe when we are studying like disciplinary law, we can check some examples about some mistakes that do the lawyers. And this is so connected about who you are and like personal and who you are in your profession. Because some of the best lawyers are just bullshit in their personal life, right? Just as an example, some people are really obsessed with work, and maybe if I don't have kids, for example, but maybe if you have kids and you start to, if you want to grow up in the company as a girl, it's harder because at some point you need to choose between your family and your kids and your work. And if you be present on one of those, you can be absent in the other. And this is a difficulty that maybe is not so clear at men, but we have it. Okay. So tonight we will discuss about what bad lawyering is and all the topics that are related, but also some specific behaviors that can have the lawyers, the difference between some crimes, and how we can refer to these kind of acts in English, basically. So when we talk about bad lawyering, one of the first words that come to our minds is that the lawyer, of course, had a bad behavior in a specific situation. But in the most of the times when we are talking about this, we are related with frauds or with crimes, right? When someone has made up facts that are not true in order to induce somebody else to enter into an agreement or negotiation based on fraud, we are talking about fraud in the inducement. But remember, when we are talking about contracts, like the basics of contracts, if someone cannot be conscious about the decision that will take, you cannot make the business. You cannot close the business. You cannot make the negotiation because someone is not getting clear about what are their duties or responsibilities, and that makes that the contract becomes null. ¿Sí? El contrato se vuelve nulo si yo no puedo tener conciencia sobre el negocio que estoy haciendo. Si yo tengo demencia senil, yo no puedo andar vendiendo mi casa con toda la tranquilidad como si fuera una veinteañera juvenil. ¿Listo? Entonces, este tipo de acuerdos o contratos son nulos, nulos. Null and void significa nulo y sin efecto. ¿Ok? And fraud in inducement is when I am trying to using the persuasion for make that you take a decision, you know? Fraud. When we talk about bad lawyering, we are related with bad practice at some point in your career, in your proceeding, with a document, like making some proofs, whatever. Depends of the thing that you do, we are talking about crime or offense. When we are talking of this topic, we have a difference, like a grammar, that is offense with S and offense with C. When we have offense with C, as you check it in the slide, means crime. But when we have it with S, means like I tell you something that maybe you get it upset because I maybe, I don't know, you don't like your hair and I told that your hair is horrible. That is an offense, like a personal offense with S. But when I'm using C, I am referring to a crime. So this is so important. And the spelling offense with S is commonly used in American English. But offense with C is a crime that breaks a particular law and requires particular punishment. Okay? This definition is taken by Collins. And this, that is obviously, but maybe some of you girls didn't know it, and it's postscript, postdata, PS, postdata, postscript. Okay? Basically, if we want to resume bad lawyering in 2 words, we will use it bad faith, mala fe. En lo que sea. Puede ser un crimen, puede ser una ofensa, puede ser un delito, puede ser inducir un delito, puede ser, en términos generales, cuando hablamos de ofensas, pueden ser definidas como bad lawyering, pero no es lo único. Si yo, if I am a really criminal expert and I am trying to do litigation in employment law or labor law, I will fuck it up my clients because I don't have any idea about how the proceeding works. I don't have an idea how I have to do it. I don't have an idea about the terms. And it's really, we have this opportunity at law school when we do our practices, is the way to doing a lot of mistakes, because then in our professional life, we cannot affect like others' rights. But if we didn't take these kind of decisions, if we didn't are conscious about what are the consequences if I start a new project, start to do litigation in other area, I can be in bad lawyering. Not necessarily because I take like the plan, oh yes, I will fuck it up my client, I will make them lose a lot of money. No, but if I do like negligence, same that doctors, if I act believing that I can do it, but I don't have the experience, I will be involved in bad lawyering also. When we talk about escrow companies, que también pueden traducirse como fideicomisos o empresas de depósitos de garantía, empresas que entran a garantizar, garantía, guarantee, como lo ven acá. Assure, asegurar, ¿sí? Porque acuérdense que las compañías aseguradoras, they make insurance, como las empresas de seguros, right? They create insurance contracts. When we make businesses with a really good lawyer, at the most of the times, an escrow company is involved in the business. If we are talking about civil, about criminal, it's always so commonly used that a lawyer asks for a guarantee, insurance, or a contract that makes that if some of the parties didn't fulfill their obligations, some company that is called escrow company will come to save the whole business. Okay? When we are talking about some of the terms that we can use like daily life, we have streamline. Cuando yo les digo que utilizamos esta expresión en cualquier momento del día, no necesariamente ante un juez, pero cuando esto es algo que no utilizamos muy común en un inglés básico, en un inglés conversacional, pero en un inglés legal, en un inglés laboral, sí lo utilizamos muchísimo. Necesitamos coordinar, necesitamos agilizar, necesitamos acordar tal cosa, qué vamos a hacer con tal caso. We need to go streamline. ¿Sí? Ahí les boto expresión. Perfect. When we have a contract, like a labor contract, we have some duties and some responsibilities. Sometimes you can get in, like, you can have the contact with the company direct by human resources team. But sometimes when we work for a really huge company, they make other kind of contract with a company that is called outsourcing. And across requirement process outsourcing, they collect the people that are identified with the profile that the company is looking for. So this is called, es un proceso de subcontratación in English, right? They use other company that do all the requirement process. They make filters for trying to find the best candidates for the profile or for the application. And then they kind of catch it and they make it part of the company. In a real scenario, like in our daily life, we can find that in all the process that become part of contracts, that become part of businesses, that is the way that Latin America works. We can find a lot of cases of corruption in our countries, and that is some of the bases that the whole and deep crisis that we have in our economy and in our societies. Why? Because bad lawyering is involved in this kind of negotiation. If I am the owner of a really huge company and my, I don't know, boyfriend's best friend is someone that has a profile, someone that I need, but I don't want to use the requirement process. It's like, call it by a slang. Do you know what means slang? Give me a second, my mouse is not working. Do you know what means slang? This slang es la jerga. Jerga. El slang significa jerga. Es lo que en Colombia, por ejemplo, decimos palanca, rosca. El utilizar la posición que tú tienes en cualquier compañía, en cualquier organización, para beneficiar a una parte, un amigo, a tu novio, a tu pareja, a tus hijos, lo que sea, es, en nuestro caso, otra manera de ejercer la mala práctica, que significa bad lawyering, ¿ok? We are a bunch of attorneys. Somos un grupo de abogados. Somos un equipo. Somos una organización. Somos una firma de abogados. Acuérdense que organización depende. Y si es organización, se dice normal, organization. But si es como una ONG, que es súper común, que nosotros lo hablamos en español, viene de la expresión non-governmental organization. Ok, ahí me entienden, me entienden. Si no me entienden, yo escribo. Non-governmental organization, ok? Organización no gubernamental. So we have a bunch of attorneys. Cada vez que tengan más de 2 abogados, están hablando de un manojo de abogados, puñado de abogados, grupo de abogados, de grupo. And the team in charge is the requirement process outsourcing. When we listen, team in charge in a company, in 90% of the times, we are referring to the requirement process outsourcing or human resources office or department. It's not the boss, right? Means it's not literally, because when we talk like team in charge, es como el grupo que está al mando, ¿cierto? Esa sería la traducción más literal, eso es lo que el primero que se nos viene a la cabeza. Pero en las compañías, team in charge are the people that have the duty to select the workers. ¿Ok? Eso es como un tipcito, ahí para que lo tengan en el radar. Remember that one of our lessons we discussed about what means the bar. You know? Remember what means the bar? That in some of the countries, you need to present an exam for become a lawyer. That depends on the department, will be harder or easier, whatever. When you are presenting this exam, especially in United States of America, you need moral character. What means? That they will check all your record. así es la manera en la que nosotros decimos en inglés antecedentes penales. All your records, but todos los tipos de antecedentes, records, okay? They will check your record and they will oversee that you don't have any kind of little issue in your CV that you never, I don't know, do copy at school. They will looking for every kind of little thing for blemish on it. What means blemish on it? Para culparte, para encontrar un defecto, una mancha, un puntico negro en la sábana blanca. ¿Para qué? Para poder discutir ese carácter moral. Porque si tú eras capaz de hacer copia en el colegio, vas a ser capaz de I don't know, a felony. You know what means felony? With felony. Cualquier delito. You can make a felony. So this is so different. In Latin America, these things doesn't happen. You present your exam, and if you approve it, you are done. And you are like closer to your diploma or your degree. But they didn't check a lot of moral character for give you an opportunity or a result. Specifically, we have an area of law that is called disciplinary law. In my case, in Colombia, we have the Consejo Superior de la Judicatura that they gave us our professional cards, right? When you become a lawyer, they give you your license for do litigation, basically for be a professional. But if you do a kind of mistake that exists like on the disciplinary code, they can take it, they can suspend it, they can make it null and void. Nulo is in effect. But this is the only entity that oversees this kind of behaviors. We doesn't have one, I don't know, area that check your behavior in your company. It's related with human resources. But for example, when you are part of the state, you have like other entities that check that you are doing good your job. But they didn't check your moral character, because if they want to blame you for something, they need to start the proceeding. That can be like a criminal or disciplinary or depending on what they want to sue, depende de lo que quieran demandar. So exists a law for the exercise of law. That is a code. In my case, it's a code. Code, código. We have a disciplinary code, and for become a lawyer, we need our license. But in other countries, this license is called bar license. Sí, es como licencia de bar. Acuérdense, hagan la asociación. Pero ¿qué significa una licencia de la barra? Una licencia en la que la barra verifica que tú cumples con todos los requerimientos para ser un abogado, tanto morales como objetivos. Es decir, que hayas cursado todos tus semestres de derecho, que hayas pasado tus exámenes, pero que aparte hayas aprobado el examen de la barra. This is called bar license. We have some requirements for get it. First, law degree. Second, registration in the Ministry of Justice. This is common. In Bolivia happens the same. Lawyers shall submit to the control of their professional practice to the Ministry of Justice or the bar associations. Yo vi mucho en Bolivia que decía colegios de abogados, colegios de abogados. You have associations, but that doesn't mean that they have the power to take your license in case that you made some mistake. They exist because you need to make friends for confidence, you need to like do contacts for your professional growing, but doesn't mean estos colegios de abogados, doesn't mean that they have the same kind of faculties that some of the bars have. Okay, this is so important. Lo mismo acá. Acá tenemos algunos clubs donde los abogados se asocian, bien sea por la universidad o por el área, pero eso no significa, es más como un tema social, ¿sí? Es como pertenezco al Jockey Club de la Universidad del Rosario, por ejemplo. Entonces es un tema primero de estatus, segundo de relaciones públicas, de negocios, de encontrar como empresarios, es decir, yo me dedico a tal cosa, tú te dedicas a tal otra, podemos hacer negocios, asesora a mi compañía en esto, yo asesoro a la tuya, que son como relaciones por conveniencia, pero no significa que ese colegio de abogados es lo mismo que un bar, que la barra, ¿ok? ¿Es claro esa diferencia? Ellos no tienen la potestad de quitar la licencia profesional. Un colegio de abogados no. ¿Listo? This is a picture that I found on the internet, and this is the kind of exam that you need to present for becoming a lawyer in a specific department or state at US. You have your exam, like hundreds of people, you present it, you approve it or not, that's it. If you cannot approve that exam, you are disbarred. In the most of the states, you have one chance to get it. You approve it or not. And if you cannot do it, you cannot become a lawyer. You have one choice, one time. If you do it, perfect. If you cannot, in some of them, you can maybe, if you are disbarred in New York, then you can go to, I don't know, other state, and you can present it again. If you approve it, you become a lawyer, I don't know, in Texas, but you are not a lawyer in New York. I know that New York and yeah, New York, New Jersey, like Washington, D.C., it's really hard that you get your license because it's a different quality of lawyers that you have in these spaces. So even the ones that create exams, the level is really high in comparison to other states. Okay. We're start to talk about the process. As always, we are like mixing everything because I cannot just talk about a topic and not getting related with others. But discovery is a specific stage of every proceeding where you can show to the judge what kind of proof do you have, what kind of proofs you can apply it in the process, and also give these proofs to the other part until like, hey, I am using this in this case, and this and this and this proof is against your interest or the interest of your client. Discovery is how you get the evidence for the other side. Descubrimiento. Okay? And when we are talking about a process that becomes legal, we need that always exists the discovery process because belongs to the human rights that exist from the beginning of law and is you cannot use. Hay una frase que se llama como dame la prueba y te daré el derecho. ¿La escuchar? It's based on this. Nobody can do anything against me if they cannot prove it, right? So discovery process exists inside of the process. How I show to the judge and I show to the other part what kind of things I'm having against them. But we have other alternatives for refer as like a process. We can use these words, these expressions interchangeably, intercambiablemente, like as synonyms. We can use it. We have dispute, contention, contending, disputing, legal action. Oh, ignoren esa pausa. Se me fue la coma mal metida. Legal action, court case, legal proceeding, judicial proceedings, legal process, legal dispute, legal contest, legal proceeding, suit at law, and legal case. All of them, we can use it wherever that you want, whenever that you need. All of this one means the same. Okay? I know that some of you, maybe Andrea is taking notes. So if you want, you can wait a little bit. No worries. Until here, everything is clear? Yes? Okay. Let me know when you finish to take notes. Ok. Deme una señal cuando ya hayan terminado. Me avisen. Give me a sign, signal. Give me notice when you are ready to restart. Okay. Be liable for law. Be liable means that you can do the exercise of law, right? That you can accept some responsibilities because you can do it. Becomes or belongs to be available, be liable, okay? Ser responsable. Andrea is so liable, like, Andrea is so liable. Andrea es muy responsable. Andrea cumple con su deber. ¿Cómo decimos deber en inglés? Duty. Deberes, duties. Ustedes conocen un juego, lo han escuchado, tal vez no lo han jugado, pero yo no lo he jugado, pero lo he escuchado muchísimo, que se llama Call of Duty. Acuérdense, esa es su herramienta visual, mental. Entonces, ese deber puede ser un deber legal, puede ser un deber personal, un deber profesional, puede ser una responsabilidad adquirida y se menciona duty or duties if it's plural. Some of you girls knows what means sexual harassment. Yes? No? Never? What means sexual harassment?
Maybe
Yeah.
something.
What?
Acoso.
Dime.
No es acoso,
Sexual.
acoso sexual.
Muy bien. Sí. Sexual harassment is a felony. Es un delito, ¿verdad? But if we are talking about lawyers and if we are talking about employment law or with employment lawyers, que son los derechos en materia laboral o los abogados que defienden o que litigan estas causas. Employment lawyers son abogados laboralistas. It's so common that we listen an expression that is called quid pro quo sexual harassment. And it's basically when I use the position that I have of power or the position that I have because you work in my team, but basically I am here and you are here, like a boss, like a supervisor, like a coordinator. And I'm used this kind of sexual harassment, but with the intention that manipulate your stuff, telling you like, hey, if I cannot touch your body or your boobs, your legs, whatever, you cannot have, I don't know, the next case, you cannot have a best salary, you cannot have other opportunities for continue growing at the company. So it's basically quid pro quo means la calidad de la gente, ¿sí? Es una base latina en la cual, aparte del acoso sexual, que ya lo conocemos, es un tipo de acoso sexual específico que se utiliza mucho en derecho laboral cuando el empleador abusa de su posición de poder y manipula a su víctima por ascensos, mejoras laborales, bonos, bonificaciones, otro tipo de procesos, nuevas oportunidades, cualquier cosa que implique a la persona por su identidad y por su superioridad frente a otra que tiene una identidad o una inferioridad. We will talk about quid pro quo sexual harassment. But this is just existing in employment law, okay? Because if we are talking about criminal law, it's just sexual harassment. I don't care if you are my boss. Maybe that can be like, that situation can make it worse at some point of the judicial process, but doesn't mean that it's a really specific and whole new crime. This is clear? ¿Clarito? ¿No clarito? ¿Dudas? ¿Inquietudes? Hagan la hora, cállenla para siempre. Esto es muy importante. ¿Por qué? Porque obviamente nosotros estamos hablando de malas prácticas en la abogacía. Pero esto no solamente lo hacen abogados, ¿sí? No sé qué vueltas vaya a dar su vida profesional, pero de pronto algún día tienen que rendir un concepto y saben que existe un término diferente en inglés, mucho más específico, que lo que para nosotros conocemos como acoso sexual. Ah, no, me está acosando mi jefe, ya punto. No significa sexual harassment at work. Tiene un término, una expresión específica, ¿ok? Admission of guilt. Okay, I admit that I'm guilty. The admission of guilt is the act. ¿Cierto? La admisión de culpabilidad. I declare that I am guilty. Yo declaro que soy culpable. ¿Sí? It's a confession. When I need that someone confess, that is the word, confess, I am looking for an admission of guilt of someone or of some representative of the state or representative of our organization or my boss. You know, I need that they do an admission of guilt or that they accept themselves that they are guilty. ¿Listo? ¿Esto es claro? Confesión. Si dicen confesión, también se entiende. I'm doing a confession. I confess that I saw this at my office yesterday, for example. Okay? Witness tampering. This is other behavior that becomes just to lawyers, but also some professional that becomes to the state. And of course, means a bad behavior of someone that has the power in knowledge, but also in, you know, like circumstantial moments, and means that you can do whatever that you want with your witness. What means witness? You know what means?
Testigo.
Muy bien. Witness significa testigo. Tampering es como ven la imagen, como manipulación, utilizarlo como una marioneta, como un juguete, inducirlo a tomar una decisión, inducirlo a firmar un contrato, inducirlo a que declare ante un juez X o Y cosa. This is called witness tampering, and if it's a plural, witnesses tampering, okay? In addition, there were cases of tampering with evidence and witnesses. This is an example where you can like see it at real life, you know? Cases of tampering, manipulación. So I need that you know, doesn't forget it, because then when I create the exam, I will start to ask for it. So if you want, you can use some post-it and put it in your office or at your room, or maybe in the mirror when you are brushing your teeth. This is like the best alternative to do like passive learning, because your brain start to check it like the first day, like, okay, it's conscious. But after a couple of days, it's unconscious. So you start to learn it like by osmosis. And this is a really good way to learn anything that you need, like at work, whatever, a new terms or a new language. Because all of you girls have like a really good level at English, but maybe you are trying to learn another language, and this is a really good alternative, because you start to put that kind of information in random places, like in the mirror when you are brushing your teeth, or at your door, or in your closet. And you know that when we do something like breathe, it's normal. But when you have problems breathing, then you need to express that you have that issue. Same happens with daily life. If you every day brush your teeth and nothing happened, your teeth your teeth, and you every day brush it, but nothing changed for your brain. Remember that our brains are designed for do the less effort that they can, the less effort always. And understand how works our brains will help us to try to make it harder, some kind of decisions, or to make it easier. So if the brain doesn't see anything different, they will go like in auto. We know, oh, why I am using this brush teeth, why, or this toothbrush, whatever, why I am using this toothpaste, why I am, no, because cannot lose energy thinking about that bullshit. Needs that energy for when you need to take a decision important at your job, when you need to read something that is really important, you need to keep it in your mind. But if you put something and you change that behavior, the daily behavior and this routine, your subconscious will say like, oh, why this girl put this here? But with days will be automatically. And you will check like in 1 week, you will have that information in your brain. So as a suggestion, you should do this kind of stuff because I am putting a lot of new language on you. And when you get it asked on, I will please that you use it, all of this information in an exercise or in a context that be specific, like doing a speech in a personal call or in a speaking call. We will have issues if you didn't find a strategy to put everything. It's not so difficult, but are so much. So try to find a way that works for you. Okay? Malfeasance. Wrongdoing, especially by a public official. Claramente, cuando nosotros hablamos de materia penal, hay unas agravantes cuando esa ofensa, ese delito, ese mal comportamiento fue ejecutado por un actor oficial, ¿verdad? No es lo mismo que dispare el arma a una persona y asesine a alguien a que dispare un oficial del ejército. Entonces, cuando nosotros hablamos de un oficial público, de alguien que pertenece al poder público, alguien que pertenece al Estado, ya no vamos a decir, puede que sea bad lawyering, si es un abogado, pero puede que sea un ingeniero que trabaja con alguna oficina estatal y se está robando la plata. Ya no puedo decir bad lawyering. Entonces, voy a utilizar esta expresión. ¿Ok? Malfeasance. ¿Listo? Porque no todos en el gobierno son abogados. Tenemos ingenieros, administradores, contables, lo que sea. ¿Ok? Jointly. We are jointly responsible about our lives. We are jointly responsible about this contract. We are jointly responsible about our decisions. Okay? We are witnesses to these attacks and are also jointly responsible for ensuring that they don't happen again. Corresponsabilidad, responsabilidad solidaria, avalistas, si estamos hablando en términos de materia comercial. Básicamente es que en un lado de la obligación está una persona y en la otra hay un grupito. Cuando yo entro con un grupito al otro lado de la obligación, estoy siendo solidariamente responsable. La responsabilidad es solidaria, la obligación es solidaria. No es lo mismo que yo compre un apartamento solita que yo compre un apartamento con mi esposo, ¿verdad? Los dos estamos siendo responsables de esa deuda. We are jointly responsible, okay, of it. ¿Listo? Corresponsabilidad. And this is so nice. I do a lot of pro bono work when I work at the law firm. Right now with the organization, no, because it's like included. But when I was corporative lawyer, if I show you a picture, you won't recognize me. I am so different. Like today I had to be at my office all day and I go with my sneakers. I cannot put, but tengo tenis, ¿sí? Quería alzar la pierna, pero mi flexibilidad no va para eso. Y no significa que sea mejor o peor abogada por cómo vaya vestida, da igual, eso no cambia nada. Pero, bueno, en las firmas es bastante diferente, entonces yo me hacía todo el cambio de look, obviamente. mm, no significa que esté bien o mal lo uno o lo otro, pero se siente una delicia ir a trabajar en tenis. O sea, cambió toda una vida el trabajar con un lugar donde no tengas un código de vestimenta. Y como soy tan chiquita, como me veo tan joven, entonces siempre cuando hablaba con los clientes era importante pues, que no sintieran que era una niña la que estaba al mando. Les vamos a hacer una foto a ver si se alcanza a ver un poco. No sé si voy a intentar, espérate que no veo mi cámara. No cambia no sé, un poquito, será como mi grupo. Cuando trabajaba like when I become to a corporative lawyer, of course that you are working at law firms, you need like to have dress code and you need to kind of create this practice of trusting depending on your status, like what card do you have, how much money you win, you can earn, etc. But when you're working with human rights, it's so different. Like the environment, the people are so relaxed. I didn't use makeup for years after my trip because I do a 2 years trip. So after that, like solo trip, I travel alone for 2 years. I kind of recreate my life, I analyze a lot of my environment and how I want to be and how I want to become. And of course that some days if I have like a really special dinner or time or party or meeting, I use makeup and I love to do myself. But sometimes not. And I'm just, like be myself because I'm not a best lawyer if I use makeup and be pretty and I with my high heels whole day. I am the same. Gali is Gali with a lot of makeup or without. And this is something that is like a lot of social pressure, because we work because of I don't know how to call it, like presentation. But it's someday you want to become to our lesson, you want to come to our lesson and be in pajamas, I don't have any issue. If you want to be lay on bed, listen it, I don't have any problem with it, right? So this is a space for be completely free. And I want that you feel it in that way. Who cares? This lesson is recorded, but just for us. Just you can check it on YouTube, but it's not public. So nothing happened. Okay, for tonight we are done. I need that please all of you girls fill the pool that is right now open. And I will stay in the conversation with Sarela that owes me one speaking call. And I remember that last session, I cannot remember, maybe it was Anai that was on the street and I say like, no, we will do it later. So today, no, because I will have with Sarela. Tomorrow, maybe not. On Wednesday, we will recover that session, okay, Anai? So nothing happens. But tonight I will recover with Sarela. I hope that all of you girls has like a really nice time. I saw that someone answered that like a part is like more or less is not clear at all, the topic or the content. So tomorrow, if you have some questions, please let me know. I will send it tomorrow or maybe tonight. I don't know. I will send it tonight. The topic for tomorrow, then you have time for organize yourself. And that's it. That's all for tonight. I hope that all of you girls have like a really good night, that you rest, that you arrive to the new city or whatever that you are traveling, Valeria, in the best conditions. And I see you tomorrow.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank
Chao,
you
chao.
so much.
Que estén bien.
Have a
See
good
you
night.
tomorrow.
Bye. See you tomorrow.
Bueno, me quedo entonces con Sarela. No me vayas a colgar mientras que yo envío el reporte a mi superior. Dame un segundito.
Thank you. Good night. Bye bye.
Bye, bye. Buenas noches. Que descansen. Regálame un segundo. Eh, Okay, Sarela, did you have time to check the video that I just sent it to you?
Yes, yes, I did. I watched it.
Okay. How was the content?
I have difficult with the accent.
Accent,
I
yeah.
didn't understand too much, but it's about the source of law. They talk about the treaty. They also talk about the customary law.
Mhm. Which one was the hardest part?
The customary law, when it's like it has subjects like parts of the customary law, and I didn't understand that too much.
Why? What part result like difficult? The difference between customary law and
And now the difference, there's like parts of the customary law, I think, or I understood like that.
okay.
I tried like YouTube tiene para como todo lo que está, lo que hablas tiene como escrito, ¿no? Entonces
Mhm.
yo traté porque no entendía mucho el acento, pero estaba como que creo que estaba en francés los subtítulos, entonces
Mhm.
eso tampoco me ayudó mucho.
Okay, but let's try to speak just in English.
Okay.
So what was the problem with the translation or subtitles?
I don't know. I didn't understand too much. I understood that the treaty is like an international agreement with two parties, and they agree and are in contract, an obligation, both
Mhm.
of them. And the customary law is, bueno, okay, it comes from costume, costume,
Question.
yes. Oh my God, my cell phone is crazy. That's it. That's why I understood. That's what I understood.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about in your scenario, like, are you working?
No, I'm still a student. The next year it's going to be my last year.
But you never do like a fellowship or internship or something, like to give your work for free for learn, like these exchanges,
No, I
no?
wanted, but the COVID.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, when you have the opportunity to work, you will be exposed to really, and give me a second, I will turn off my
Oh, me
connection
too.
because it's like, so when we are exposed to these kind of scenarios, it's really easy to get it involved in different like or controversial stuff when we discuss what means customary, because of course that Customary law is a behavior that happens once and once during the time. Then that becomes a precedent. Existe una regla de derecho que dice que después de una decisión 3 veces tomada en el mismo sentido se convierte en un precedente judicial. So means that everybody that has like a really similar situation comes and needs to be applied or be judged by the same standards. We'll apply and we'll say, hey, but in decision, call it blah, 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 blah. You took that decision that is in the same way what I'm looking for because the situation is almost the same or is so similar. Then we have the precedent, but this precedent can change. For that reason is that the court takes different decisions and different, they have different behaviors that can change the precedent. Entonces, es muy importante tener en cuenta que la costumbre cambia y cuando tú estás expuesta a trabajar, tú te das cuenta que un día tú citas una ley y al día siguiente te toca citar otra porque cambió y al día siguiente te toca colocar una decisión, pero al día siguiente, el día siguiente pueden ser muchos meses, ¿no? Es solamente una metáfora. Pues te toca irte adaptando because it's the way that we move and that we win other kind of rights. You know that women cannot vote in 1957 in Colombia. I guess that was the time when the first one can vote. So if they doesn't change the laws or doesn't change the precedent, we cannot move on. Entonces eso es muy importante. La costumbre es lo que hace que nosotros hagamos ciertas cosas. Por ejemplo, no sé, no criticar lo que nos regalan. Eso es costumbre popular, ¿cierto? En derecho funciona casi igual. That means customary law. Because my grandfathers do this kind of behavior and works, I will try to do the same. We are repeating because we have cycles in our life. But when we are talking about law, we can have the precedent. And the precedent and also the customary law belongs to a sources of law. So I am asking to a protection. I can use doctrine, I can use some decisions or judicial cases, the law, I can use what more? International agreements, I can use international decisions. Depends, like the International Court of Justice define what are the sources of law. And we should take that into account when we need to create a document or when we are dealing with international issues, public or private. Okay?
Okay.
So no worries. I know that the accent is quite hard because we always study like American, but British is also so nice. You just need to adapt your, to the new sounds and pronunciation. Change a lot of like in normal one, you say like, give me a, I don't know, glass of water. But then it's like, can you please give me some water? Change. But also it's so important that you take some content. You need to push yourself to start to understand. Australian accent is different. It's not harder, it's just different. But if some German guy is talking to you in English, will be different, the accent. Same that Asian people. So you need to adapt yourself to these kind of sounds, and then you can communicate. Whoever that you are talking or discussing or sharing time, you can adapt yourself. I want that you please tell me, Salera, what other part results difficult, because then I can, push to try to that everything become clear.
And it was clear. I'm today after Christmas. Today I was taking notes of the classes I missed,
Mhm.
and it was clear. It was clear.
Everything.
Yes.
Okay, nice. Where you can see the customary law. Please give me some examples about customary law at your country.
Customary law. I don't know. Um, I don't. Customary
Think about
law.
it.
Mm, yeah, remember. Maybe, Miss, if you gave me an example, I can remember something.
For example, you have like a lot of influence from indigenous communities, and you know that they do businesses without contracts and without a lot of, you know, legal proceedings. If you have some potatoes and I have some tomatoes, we can change it, and that becomes like a routine, because if we live in a small town, I cannot find other tomatoes and I just have potatoes. So with time, we start to synchronize, we start to adapt to the business or to the situation, and that will like will part of the routine, right? We can pay for it, like everything. You know that we work with routines all time.
I don't know
So that is
if
an example, for example.
yes, I don't know if this is customary law, but here in Bolivia, there's like justicia comunitaria
Ujú.
and
¿Cómo sería justicia comunitaria en inglés? ¿Cómo lo aproximaría?
community justice,
Ujú.
and it wasn't in the constitution, but now it is because it's something like ancestral they do. It's regulated in the constitution now. It's
Ah,
something that you can do, and if you do it, oh, I mean, it's right. Here, for example, in the city, if something, I don't know uh, if something, I don't know, make I don't know, in if there's a store and they I forget the word robar
stole
stole.
or
So
stolen.
yeah,
Depends.
for example, if somebody steal my cell phone in the city, I can't like take the person push it,
Okay.
golpearlo. I
Yeah.
can't. It's la persona que va a pagar por eso soy yo. No puedo hacer eso. But in the rural area, en el área rural, es
It's so common.
permitido because it's just the community justice. And it's
Mhm.
all right. And I think that's a customary law because now it's in the constitution.
Yes, perfect. The example was perfect, because you know that is human behaviors applied that can be recognized or not of law system, but becomes law, or
Yeah.
it's just law because they apply it. It's what happens with indigenous communities, right? And this is a discussion between like law and ancestral law or indigenous law, and how we have in some cases problems with human rights. But in others, no, because works and works better than the justice that we have in our systems. Because a lot of proceedings and a lot of requirement and a lot of decisions of the cases makes that every time be difficult that one case can have a result that be designed by have justice. For example, in my country, we have an average that 20 or 25 years in criminal cases that are really, really complex. It's so hard. Maybe the people never can have justice. I'm dealing with cases that happened 30 years ago. If the prosecutor cannot solve it 5 years later, now it's harder because the witnesses are died. Time passed by. You check the like to check the process, and sometimes it's hard to read because they use like machines, and with time like comes becomes blurry como borroso. So if you cannot have justice 30 years ago, maybe it will never happen here, because the custom change, la costumbre cambia. Cada día se reinventan nuevas realidades. So that is a really important conclusion that we can have for our meeting. Ya estamos al día entonces con nuestra deuda. Nos vemos entonces mañana para nuestra sesión y que estés muy bien.
Okay, bye, Miss. Thank
Feliz
you.
noche, gracias a ti. Chau, chau.
Bye.